right, today we're diving into a crypto project called Kaspa. Now, this one is trying to crack a problem that's been at the very heart of crypto for years. How do you get incredibly fast without sacrificing security or decentralization? Kaspa's big idea is to take the battle-tested security model of Bitcoin and merge it with a totally different kind of technology called the BlockDAG. So, let's get into it and see how they're pulling this off.
So, here's the question that's been bugging developers forever. You might have heard of it as the scalability trilemma. See, you can usually have the awesome decentralization and security of a network like Bitcoin, or you can have the lightning speed of a more centralized system. But what if you didn't have to pick one? That's the exact problem Kaspa was built to solve.
To really get what makes Kaspa's solution so different, we've first got to understand the classic trade-off that's defined proof-of-work crypto for, well, over a decade now.
Think about traditional blockchains, like Bitcoin, as a single-lane road. Every single block of transactions has to patiently wait for the one in front of it to get confirmed and added to the chain. It's super secure, for sure, but man, it creates these massive traffic jams and just slows everything way down. Kaspa's promise is to keep that same level of security, but blow that single lane out into a multi-lane superhighway.
So how in the world does it build that superhighway? Well, this is where we get into Kaspa's secret sauce. It's not just an upgrade to a blockchain, it's a completely different kind of structure. The secret is the BlockDAG. You see, instead of a linear chain of blocks, a blockchain, Kaspa uses a directed acyclic graph, or DAG for short. This structure lets the network create and process multiple blocks at the exact same time, totally in parallel. They all get woven together into one single cohesive history, which means your transactions can get confirmed way faster.
And the engine that makes all this parallel magic happen is a protocol called GhostDAG. You can think of it like an air traffic controller for the whole network. It sees all these blocks being made at once, instantly figures out the right order for them, and then just expertly weaves them together. This piece of technical wizardry is really what separates Kaspa from the rest of the pack.
Okay, so what does all that tech actually get you in the real world? It gets you this: one block confirmed, every single second. For a proof-of-work system, that is just incredible speed. That kind of throughput could handle hundreds of transactions per second, making things like instant payments at a store or micropayments in a video game not just possible, but actually practical.
But you know, revolutionary tech is only half the story. I mean, what good is a super-fast engine if the project itself isn't built on a foundation you can trust? This is where Kaspa's whole ethos of fairness and transparency really comes into play, and it's a huge part of its identity. You see, Kaspa had what's called a 100% fair launch back in November 2021. And what that means is there was no pre-mine for insiders, no private sales for big venture capitalists, and no special allocation for the team. From day one, every single token has come into existence through mining. This creates what its community believes is a truly level playing field for everyone.
And that transparency extends to its economics too. The total supply is capped right around 28.7 billion KAS, and the emission schedule is designed to decrease smoothly over time. This makes it predictable and helps it avoid those sudden supply shocks you see with the big halving events in other cryptos.
Now, a great idea and fair principles are one thing, but a project needs real active development and a strong community to actually survive and thrive. So let's take a look at what Kaspa has going on there.
And you don't have to take my word for it. The proof is right out there in the open. Kaspa's development is all on GitHub, with over 100 active repositories. You can see consistent weekly commits, performance improvements, and publicly resolved issues. This isn't just marketing talk. It's real, verifiable work happening all the time.
And behind all that development, you've got a genuinely passionate community. You go on platforms like Twitter or Reddit, and the conversation isn't just about price hype. It's about the BlockDAG tech, the fair launch principles, and a real focus on long-term organic growth. It feels like an active and thoughtful community, not just a bunch of passive followers.
So, with this unique tech and a pretty solid foundation, how does Kaspa really stack up against the giants of the crypto world? Let's break it down. Okay, so next to Bitcoin, Kaspa offers way better speed while keeping that same gold standard proof-of-work security. And compared to Ethereum, it gives you that scalability without those ridiculously high gas fees. Now, it's really important to point out that Kaspa doesn't have smart contracts right now, so it's not trying to be a direct competitor for DeFi or NFTs. Instead, it's carving out its own unique space. It wants to be a pure, decentralized digital cash system that has the security of Bitcoin, but with speeds that can even compete with non-proof-of-work networks. Of course, no project is a sure thing, so to get the full picture, we have to look at the challenges, the potential risks, and the different paths Kaspa could take from here.
Yeah, it's really important to be realistic here. Kaspa is still in the crypto market, which means it faces intense volatility. It has some fierce competition from other Layer 1s and Layer 2 solutions that are all fighting for the top spot. And, that ongoing global debate about the energy use of proof of work, that's a headwind it's going to have to deal with.
So where could this all be heading? Well, you can imagine a few different futures. In a best-case scenario, its speed and security could make it a leader for everyday digital payments. It might also just find its groove as a respected niche project loved by a loyal community that really cares about its fair launch principles. Or it could get outpaced by competitors with bigger developer ecosystems. The things to watch really, beyond just the price, will be developer adoption and how much activity is actually happening on-chain.
So that brings us to the big question, doesn't it? Kaspa is, without a doubt, one of the most interesting experiments happening in crypto right now. It's blending that proven decentralization with some really cutting-edge tech. But whether it becomes the actual blueprint for the future of digital money or stays a fascinating but niche project, well, that story is still being written. The technology is impressive, but its biggest tests are definitely still to come.